Okay, so now we are going to implement the slingshot behaviors. So let's go back to our script. Actually, almost every table has a slingshot, so there should be also for the initial script, which was for Darktitude. So the best thing is to look for the slingshot, the commented slingshot lines. So basically slingshots needs two behaviors. One is the switch to detect the ball collision, and one other is the solenoid to kick the ball when it has been when the collision has been found. So let's start with the switch. So I am in its switches object, and there are the two lines that we will need. All right. So it's adding switch is just like adding lamps or solenoids. The first parameter is the name of the object. Actually, it's the default one, so it's left slingshot rubber for the left one, and right slingshot rubber for the right one. The second parameter is the slot. So here is the switch slot. So let's look into the documentation, and in the switch diagram there are the number of the slingshot switch in here. So it's 33 for the left one and 34 for the right one. So let's implement it, and there again. Right, and the third parameter is the name of the behavior. So for slingshots you have to use BX slingshot switch. So about that, let's go to the documentation. So right now we have only a small documentation about it. It's not well commented. It's generated by Doxygen, but let's go to unitedpinball.net's website, and there on the documentation you have the behaviors doc. So it will be improved, but you have here all the class lists. You also can do it by hierarchy. So for example, the mono behavior and BX behavior, it's the base of our behaviors. Then we have activables things, and under that you have either solenoids, lamp, or switches, and all our behavior inherits from this basics. So basically in the add switch you will add one of these, BX basic switch being the default one, and so on for the add lamp or add solenoid. So right now we will use the BX slingshot switch for the switches, and you have different documentation. So let's go back to a script and launch the table and try this one. All right. So let's go for. So now we will see by activating the slingshot, the slot explorer, we will see that if the ball is colliding the slingshot rubber, the switch is triggered. Actually, it should. This behavior has some parameters which are right now they are built in. It's a default force on which it's the force, the minimum force at which the sling will be triggered. And also the direction is important, the direction of the impact. So let's open the slot explorer and just watch the switches. So now if I use the debug shot feature and hitting the left one, trigger 33 should be triggered. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, it's a bit fast, but as you can see here, switch 33 is triggered when the ball hits it, and for the right one it's 34. So this is quite okay. So now let's add the kick. Oh, sorry. So let's go to the add solenoid, the init solenoid function, and look for the slingshots kickers. So here we have the one for the right. Let's use the same commands, Oliver, and add the slingshot. Alright. Okay, so let's do it for the right slingshot rubber and the left one. So here basically we use in the same manner as we used the left slingshot switch behavior. Here there is a a slingshot kick behavior. If we go back here and under the solenoid one, and the base in the class hierarchy, actually you can have it here in the list. So it's base slingshot switch and base slingshot kick, so it's working in the same manner. Right, you have here the different parameters as I told you about. This is a developer help, but it can be useful. So right now let's say that it's linked to the default slot, which is 0, actually, which should never been triggered by the ROM, and go back here in the beginning above init arrays. So remember what we did for the flipper action. So there is in base slingshot kick, there should be a static variable which can enable an auto triggering of the kicker if the switch is activated. So let's say that enables auto kicking mode for slingshots. Right, so you can see more information in the documentation. So what it should do, it should automatically kick the ball when the ball is hitting the behavior. So keep in mind that this is not enough. You have to add both the switch and the solenoid behavior. Let's wait for it. I will pause for you. Okay, so here we go. Then let's try if the auto switch has worked. Okay, so when the ball is hitting the slingshot, it is automatically kicked. So keep in mind now that a game is not launched at all, and actually if I start a game and that I keep tilting the pinball machine, even though kickers will be working. Actually this is an electromechanical behavior and it's not what we want for it. So let's kill it and disable the auto kicking mode. Actually it's false by default, so we can command the whole line. And now go into the documentation, for the ROM to handle the slingshot. That way, and it will be the same as for the flippers or for the bumpers. If the game is tilted or the game is not started, Slingshot will not respond to a collision with the ball. So the solenoid is, if I remember quite correctly on this one, just the solenoid. So solenoid, and the left slingshot kicker is solenoid slot 18 and 20 for the right one. So 18 and 20, and go back to the add solenoid, 18 and 20. So now, as we commented, the auto kicking mode, it should work. Well, also keep in mind that this line, if you want to activate it, for example, on an electromechanical pinball machine, you have to enable it before the init erase line. It's a restriction. Let me pause for you. Okay, so now the game is launched. Let's start one game, and the first ball in there. Oh, okay, so now if we hit the kicker, it's working, but if I come to tilt the pinball machine, it should not be working anymore, and it's not, right? So this is the behavior we were looking for, and in the next video we will try to configure the bumpers, which will be quite the same behavior. So thank you very much, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.